So for ISTE Standard 3, that is the Collaborator piece. I felt that I could go on all day for this one. So if you look at the website, you will see that I have added the tech support menu. Once again, I added that in standard number 1 as well. And I also added, once again, the Connect Hub export of the coaching cycles. That both of those go to show that, I have a trusting and respected coaching relationship to explore new things. But I also, wanted to primarily spend this video talking about the other artifacts that I included. Now, there are 3 or 4 of them that I want to go into detail about. You'll see that they range from kindergarten to 3rd grade to 5th grade. Now, we are a pre-K through 5th grade school. So I'm showing 3 different levels of activities, but I really have worked with all grade levels on a variety of activities. But these in particular show that they meet substandards of A, B, C, and D. All of these show how I'm partnering with educators to identify digital learning content that is relevant, developmentally appropriate. All of them are showing that I'm partnering with them to evaluate the digital learning content and how to make decisions on how to implement them. And all of them are providing personalized support to plan and model, because in all these cases, I work with the teachers hand in hand to plan it, to show them how it's going to work, to model it for them, and then also in some cases just to support, because they've either done it before or they see another teacher using it and they know how to use it. So I'll start off with the B-Bots. So B-Bots at the top of the kindergartners. I actually did B-Bots this year with preschoolers all the way through 3rd graders on various levels, but they basically have to code the B-Bot to travel through these mazes, through these mats, which are different sizes. This one that I use for this artifact is picture, is they had to match the pictures basically. But I also did one earlier this year where they had to match sight words. They had to make sentences. In math, we had them go from facts to basically fact families. So a lot of different ways to use B-Bots, but that was one activity. Another one was Tinkercad. So I worked with 3rd graders to build famous structures. And I did this over a span of a couple weeks where I met with them at about half an hour at a time to kind of go into the program of Tinkercad and digitally build these famous structures. So I showed them how to insert the shapes, how to resize them, how to layer them, how to make a hole. And then once they were complete, we actually sent them to a 3D printer and they got the physical print, which they thought was just the coolest thing ever. So that was a neat project. And then another one next to the Tinkercad project is the interactive posters. So I worked with 5th grade this year to do an interactive poster where they would work in Scratch Junior and they would create a coded program so that when they tied it into the Makey Makey on the poster, that they could tap a portion of their poster, such as the drums, and they would find a Google audio file and make their poster actually make sound. So that was kind of a neat project. And then also underneath those is another example of how I work directly with teachers is the PD in a box. This was mentioned in the ISTE number 1 change agent, but I wanted to add it again here in Collaborator because this shows that I am working with not only administration to implement these professional development boxes, but also working with the teachers and having them collaborate with each other on how to do these activities. So that picture right there is an example or is a evidence of showing the teachers working together through a skill in the PD in a box to then work with their students later. Next to that is an example of a book report, essentially, where I had students come in and do a green screen project. They would develop a script. They came into the studio, they chose a background, and then we worked together on developing the book report. Now, this is done in 5th grade, but I did other green screen projects with 3rd grade for Market Day, as well as even younger students in 1st grade for Balloons Over Broadway. So I'm doing tons of things that partner with educators to promote technology and use technology in different ways. And in all these cases, I work with the teacher directly and specifically on whatever project they're using to show them how it works and why it works and how the end product might look. On the division side or on the school building side, I also added an artifact of the AGR Technology Hub. Now, the Technology Hub was a Google site that I had implemented in about 2017. And at first, it was just going to be a place for teachers to come for various ideas of how they could use different technology skills. When the pandemic hit, the Technology Hub kind of morphed into a one-stop shop for how to troubleshoot Chromebooks, how to contact their teacher, how to get different ideas to support learning at home. It was also for teachers. It wasn't just for parents. It was also for teachers to go to get different ideas that they could use, because at that time they didn't have students. So they needed a way to get access to digital tools. And when we weren't in buildings, this was a great way for them to see that. So the Technology Hub, since the pandemic and since we're back, has kind of gone back into more of a dormant mode, but it is still published. It is still available. But many of the things that are on there are really no longer applicable because they're mostly for virtual learning. But that was a division encouragement. It wasn't required for each school to have a Technology Hub, but we found at the elementary level, at least, it was very beneficial to have something, mostly for parents, but also for teachers and students.